I got to thinking, I don't think it's much different than what we do as a culture. We worship money, we worship sex, we worship power. We know Satan doesn't have an original idea. All Satan can do is mock what is good and holy and true. So with his counsels of perdition, he mocks the counsels of perfection, which the church has always taught us. And what's so fascinating about this, the counsels of perfection come against the big three that Satan tries to get us to make our God. So what are the counsels of perfection that handle that money, that sex, that power, that come against those counsels of perdition? Very simply, it's not faith, hope, and love, which sometimes we might think it is. It's poverty, chastity, and obedience. When we have a spirit of poverty, what difference does money make? When we have a detachment, Lord, I neither desire wealth nor poverty. I neither desire health nor sickness, only what you desire. St. Ignatius' prayer. When we have that spirit of detachment, holy detachment, money then becomes a tool of the kingdom. Money becomes, if God gives me money, I use it for his glory. If he doesn't, that's fine too. We still give God glory and honor. We don't need to be actually poor, necessarily, to do God's work. Now, he may be calling us to that, and those in religious life are called to that vow of poverty. But we can have that spirit of poverty, that spirit of detachment. Blessed are the poor in spirit. And so our God is saying, be attached to me. Don't be attached to earthly stuff. Don't be attached to all the worldly things. Be attached to me only. Be poor in spirit so I can give you my spirit. That's poverty. It comes directly against money. Then we have chastity. Chastity is holiness in our sexuality. It's a sexual expression that is holy. It is a sexual expression that honors the church's teachings. You know, really, there's only two teachings the church has about sexuality. It's one that the sexual act needs to take place within the covenant bonds of a marriage. And then we also know that each act needs to be open to life. That's it. And if we can keep those two rules, follow those two rules, then we're in God's grace. And then his meaning and his plan for sexuality will come to fruition through us. So whether you are living a single life, whether you are living a married life, whether you are a religious, whether you are ordained, we are all called to a chaste sexual expression. Now the ordained are also called, most of the ordained are also called to a life of celibacy. There are some exceptions to that. So we have poverty, we have chastity, and the third one is obedience. And obedience is this. Obedience is when we listen to our Lord. When we submit to our Lord, we submit to his church, we submit to our bishop, we submit to our pastors. We submit to God's law in all things. We submit to that divine law. We acknowledge that we have somebody above us that is greater than us. We acknowledge the presence of God in our life, and our bishop, and the church, etc., etc. We also, under this one, I strongly encourage all of you to have a spiritual director. To find a good and holy spiritual director, one who is faithful to the church, one who desires has a zeal for souls, one who desires your salvation more than you do. We want to have a good spiritual director, a holy spiritual director. And I really encourage you to have a spiritual director. All of us need to have somebody that can tell us no. That somebody, when they say no, we may not agree, we may not like, but we listen to, we obey. We need to be obedient. We need to be under somebody's authority.